What did your child destroy at school that exposed something way worse? My 11-year-old son destroyed $8,000 worth of school property in front of 500 parents, and I couldn't be more proud. The principal's voicemail came through while I was sitting in the emergency room. We were supposed to be at the talent show in an hour, but my mom needed x-rays after falling down the stairs. The message said, "Your son destroyed school property. Call immediately," in a thunderous tone that made my bones quiver. I told the nurse I'd be right back and drove to the school, my hands gripping the steering wheel so tight that my knuckles went white. My son had never been in trouble at school before, and I had no idea what he possibly could have done to make the principal that mad. The parking lot was chaos with parents scattered everywhere, and I could hear people shouting inside. When I found my son sitting outside the principal's office, he was completely calm, eating chips while other parents were literally screaming at the principal through the door. "Tell me what happened before they come out here," I said, kneeling down to look him in the eyes. He pulled out his phone and showed me a video saying, "Watch this first because nobody's going to believe me without proof." The video showed 3 boys huddled around a laptop, and one was saying, "When Joey starts stuttering on Let It Go, we'll have the whole thing ready to loop through the speakers." My dad already showed me how to override the soundboard. My son swiped to another video showing the same kids testing their setup during yesterday's rehearsal, and when a kid with a stutter said, "The cold never bothered me anyway," they played it back 20 times while the entire auditorium laughed, and the boy ran off stage sobbing. "That's Joey. He tried to quit the talent show, but the music teacher said she'd fail him if he didn't perform," my son said, putting his phone away. The principal emerged, followed by 3 sets of furious parents, and one father was practically spitting when he said, "Your son destroyed $10,000 of equipment because my boy made a harmless joke." I stood up slowly and asked, "A harmless joke that required hacking into the sound system?" The man's face went red, and he said, "My son is on the honor roll and would never hack anything, unlike your delinquent who just committed a felony." The principal said, "Your son deliberately cranked our sound system to maximum during Joey's performance, causing complete audio failure." One mother actually said, "Maybe if certain children can't handle harmless jokes, they shouldn't be on stage. Get a sense of humor." I told my son to show them the videos, but the principal said, "That won't be necessary as we have witnesses who saw your son run to the sound booth." My son looked the principal dead in the eyes and said, "You mean the sound booth where their kids were hiding with their laptops ready to broadcast Joey's stutter to 500 people?" The hallway went silent. One mother grabbed her son's arm and hissed, "Tell them you weren't in the sound booth." Her son went pale and stammered, "We were only—" His father cut him off, saying, "Don't say another word without our lawyer." The music teacher appeared and her face was white as she said, "I just checked the sound booth and there are 3 laptops still plugged into the auxiliary ports with audio files labeled Joey Stutter Remix on the desktop." The honor roll father started backing toward the exit saying, "This is a misunderstanding," but my son said loud enough for everyone to hear, "I have video of you teaching your son how to override the soundboard yesterday after school." The man froze. His wife's face went from angry to horrified as she whispered, "You did what?" I drove my son back to the hospital to see his grandmother, and while we were there I asked him what happened to Joey's performance. He grinned and said, "Joey stood there for 30 seconds in complete silence, then did an interpretive dance that got a standing ovation from the entire auditorium. He would have won if they hadn't canceled everything that happened after his act." His grandmother thought this was hilarious. The bullies got expelled, and their parents got the bill for the sound system while my son's suspension was reversed.